outline in their pocket, and I instantly radioed the other. Made me sit at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. Mr. Henley gave me detention for chewing gum. Becca didn't text me back for 3 days. I couldn't even remember writing most of them. I shook my head. Dad, I don't know who half these people are anymore. He nodded once. Most of what hurts today won't hurt tomorrow, son. Save your stamps for what lasts. I put my hand on my holster and scanned the crowd, looking for threats while the mayor spoke into the microphone. I was his bodyguard, I couldn't even remember caught a figure in a dark blue hoodie and shorts at the edge of the crowd. My eyes narrowed as I noticed the pistol-shaped outline in their pocket, and I instantly radioed the other guards as I realized what this meant. But the figure saw me and immediately disappeared into the crowd. My focus dropped down to the front row, where my wife was smiling at me. But I frowned because next to her, my daughter's seat was empty. She'd screamed she hated my job and hated the mayor this morning, slamming the door in realized what this meant, but the figure saw me and immediately disappeared into the crowd. My focus dropped down to the front row, where my wife was smiling at me. But I frowned because next to her, my daughter's seat was empty. She'd screamed she hated my job and hated the mayor this morning, slamming the door in realized what this meant, but the figure saw me and immediately disappeared into the crowd. My focus dropped down to the front row, where my wife was smiling at me. But I frowned because next to her, my daughter's seat was empty. She'd screamed she hated my job and hated the mayor this morning, slamming the door in realized what this meant, but the figure saw me and immediately disappeared into the crowd. My focus dropped down to the front row, where my wife was smiling at me. But I frowned because next to her, my daughter's seat was empty. She'd screamed she hated my job and hated the mayor this morning, slamming the door in realized what this meant, but the figure saw me and immediately disappeared into the crowd. My focus dropped down to the front row. Where my wife was smiling at me, and I thought about how awful it would be if something happened today, and that was our last interaction. Suddenly,
we can't. Oh my god, I'm too loud.
I felt extremely uneasy.
Why am I too loud?
It was too dangerous. I walked across the stage and leaned.
Wait, I'm too loud.
Where my wife identified, and I thought about how awful it would be for your safety immediately. I could see his skin interaction, and he immediately.
Oh my god, I'm too loud. I'm actually too loud. I'm actually too loud. Wait, I'm too loud. Am I loud now? Oh my god, I'm too loud. I'm actually too loud. I'm actually too loud.
As I dived in front of the mayor, time slowed down, and while in the air, I looked at my wife. I thought about how she was going to have to see her husband die in front of her. I thought about my daughter and how they slamming the door.
I'm too loud.
The sound of the bullet flying, and suddenly felt the ammo there. The shot hit, and I instantly fell hard, bleeding from my leg and groaning in pain. But the mayor was okay. Other guards swarmed him, and I slowed down, crying while in the air, trying to get to me while security she was going to the shooter. I thought about my daughter, and my body froze in shock, and tears began rolling down my cheeks.
My
cheek. A scar on their calf, the same scar
my daughter has.
My daughter was the shooter. She would rather shoot her father than let him do his job.
She would rather shoot her.
You found something in your son's backpack. You need to come in immediately. I immediately ran to my car and drove to the school at 100 miles per hour while my heart pounded with adrenaline. When I got there, my son was staring at the floor looking extremely guilty, and I was already assuming the worst. What's wrong? Did someone get hurt? The principal pointed at a stack of papers across the desk. We found these in your son's backpack during a locker check. I looked down and started going through it. College applications, SAT prep notes. I laughed because it seemed like a joke. Is that all this is about? These aren't even my sons. He's 12 years old. That's what we thought. But a teacher confirmed the handwriting is his. We believe he's committing academic fraud, meaning we think he's getting paid doing someone else's homework for them. I looked at my son confused. Why do you have college applications in your backpack? He didn't look up. They're Jada's. Your older sister Jada. Why do you have her college applications? I could tell my questions were making him nervous because I wrote them for her. I write everything for her. Every homework assignment, every essay. For 2 years straight, my jaw dropped with a mixture of fear and shock. My 12-year-old son does my 18-year-old daughter's work. Son, why didn't you tell me? She told me if I told anyone she'd ruin my life. So I did every assignment she gave me. The principal picked up his phone. I'm calling her down right now. This is unacceptable. My son jumped out of his chair. No, please don't call her down. When the principal called her down anyway, he started wrestling him. Stop! And when it took almost all my strength to peel him off. Never seen him this emotional. Son, what is going on? I've never seen you act like this before. His lip quivered with fear, and before he could say anything, the door slammed open. Jada walked in and and crossed her arms. Why was I pulled out of class? The principal pointed at the papers. Your brother told us everything. She looked at her brother and sighed like this was an inconvenience. I knew you would tell on me, but whatever. I don't care if it was wrong. He got me accepted to Harvard. I felt extremely disappointed in my daughter. And when I turned to see my son's reaction to all of this, I expected him to be sad. Instead, he was laughing. Jada looked worried. What's so funny? I said. Yeah, why are you laughing? He kept laughing. You didn't get accepted to Harvard. I did. The room went silent. I wrote the truth in the application essay. I told them that me, a 12-year-old, wrote every single word of it. I told them I've been doing AP classes for 2 years. I put my phone number on the application. I didn't put your name anywhere. Jada's face got red. He looked at me. They called yesterday. Harvard accepted me. My daughter thought she was finessing him, but he was finessing her the whole time. My phone buzzed, and I saw a bank notification that my wife just took out $3,000. I immediately felt my fists clench and saw her getting ready to take our kids to school. Why did you do that? You can't keep spending all our money on clothes. But she didn't say anything, just walked out. I knew something weird was going on, but a few minutes later, another notification. iPhone tracking deactivated. Oh no, I knew something was definitely wrong. Why would she turn her location off? But just before I could call her, someone knocked at the door. I opened it, and 2 cops had their hats off. Sir, is your wife named Maria? Yeah, why? Did something happen? He looked like he was about to cry. Sir, there was an accident. Your wife's van had collided with a semi-truck. It exploded. There were 3 victims. My heart was racing. I knew he had to be lying. No, she was just here. Stop. I grabbed my phone to call her, but saw another notification. Receipts for plane tickets. That's what she spent the money on. She was trying to surprise me, and I got mad at her. He grabbed my shoulder. Sir, we have to go identify the bodies. You have to come with us right now. No, you're lying. Let me call her. I pressed call, but it didn't even start ringing. It just went straight to voicemail. No, please answer. Please tell me this is a joke. Sir, her phone was in the crash. It's unlikely it still works. I stared at the notification from earlier. Location disabled. I realized why that popped up. I started crying and fell onto the ground. The last thing I did was yell at her. I just wanted to say sorry, but they helped me up. We have to go. But just as we opened the door, my phone started ringing. Unknown number. I was about to press decline, but the officer stopped me. Sir, you should answer that just in case. You don't know who it could be. I was in no mood to talk, but I wiped my tears away. I pressed answer, but as soon as I did, I heard her voice. Hey, I left my phone in the van. I think someone stole it. Can you come pick us up? I couldn't breathe. I said, honey, are you okay? Yeah? Why are you crying, you baby? I immediately burst out in tears, telling her I was so sorry for yelling at her earlier. She had no idea what just happened. My family was putting my dog down on Monday, so I took him somewhere he could be free. Duke had been in a cage in our laundry room since I was 8. He barked all day because nobody let him out. Mom said the barking was the problem, but I knew the cage was. Friday after dinner, my dad called the vet. That dog goes Monday. My mom didn't even look up from her plate. I wasn't going to let that happen, so I thought of Grandpa. He lived 3 hours away on a farm.
Okay, ads, great.
If anyone could give Duke what he needed, it was him. So that Saturday night, I waited for my parents to fall asleep. At 2 in the morning, I crept past their bedroom into the laundry room. I lifted the latch on the cage, and Duke didn't make a sound, like he knew. I clipped on his leash, and we walked 2 miles to the train station in the dark. The clerk behind the glass asked where my parents were. I pointed at the bathroom and told him my dad sent me to buy the ticket while he was inside. I slid all my piggy bank money under the glass. He paused for a long second, then pushed a ticket back through. On the train, I took the back row, and Duke curled up under my seat. My phone started buzzing,
By the way,
and I pulled it out of my pocket. It was Mom, then Dad, then Mom again. I turned it off and shoved it deep in my bag. A woman across the aisle saw Duke poking out from under the seat and smiled. He's a sweet boy. Duke licked her hand, and she didn't say another word. Duke fell asleep with his head on my leg. I held the leash and stayed wide awake the whole way. I got off at the last stop and walked 3 miles up the dirt road to Grandpa's porch. He was already on it, holding the screen door open. Get in here, both of you. The next morning, Grandpa walked Duke out to the field, bent down, and unclipped the leash. Duke didn't run at first. He turned and looked back at me. I nodded. He took off across the field, barking like he'd been holding it in his whole life. I sat down in the grass next to Grandpa, and we watched Duke chase butterflies until the sky got dark, like he was finally allowed to be free. While gaming with my new online friend, I heard my sister screaming and shutting her laptop closed. She ran around the house, closing blinds blinds and making sure the doors were locked. I paused the game and asked what's wrong, but she just pointed to her laptop. I opened it and saw a Reddit post she'd made, sharing her experience being stalked by someone named Dave. Her inbox had a new DM. Your post made finding you too easy. Can't wait to try you soon. Followed by a picture of our house. My stomach dropped. My new online friend I'd been gaming with was named Dave. We were supposed to meet up for the first time in a couple of hours. I told my sister and she broke down, saying Dave had tried to unalive her before, and if I went to meet him, he'd probably do something to me in order to get to her. We called the police
crazy,
and set a
bro.
trap. That evening, Dave pulled up, texting me. He's outside ready to meet his gaming buddy. My sister looked out, and while shaking, confirmed that was his car. I stepped outside, my heart beating through my chest. He looked at me with a smile and asked me to give him a tour of my house. But a dozen officers swarmed him instantly. They tackled him to the ground and pulled out his ID. But when we looked at it, we saw his name wasn't registered as Dave. It was Wayne's. Yet his picture matched perfectly. So if the man on the ground in front of me wasn't Dave, where was the real Dave? That's when my phone started ringing. My sister. I answered,
who is
and a man's
Wayne?
voice came through. Congratulations, you just fell for my bait. I heard my sister scream, and the line went dead. A man walked into my hardware store with 3 minutes until closing time,
Who's
and
Wayne,
walked up
bro?
to the counter with a thick rope.
Okay.
He wouldn't make eye
Is he
contact,
gonna
and his hands
rope?
were shaking. I realized what the rope was for immediately, and told him, "Sir, I have a ladder in the back you might want as well. That rope won't hold what I think you want it to hold, unless it's anchored correctly." The man looked at me with these sad, lifeless eyes, and I could tell he knew that I understood.
bro,
He nodded and quietly said he'll take the ladder. So I went into the back and browsed through every ladder, picking out the strongest one I could. I brought it back and sat it down on the floor, then added it to the
That's
total.
crazy.
The man thanked me, but just as I was about to ring him up, 8 p.m. hit,
8
and the
p.m.
screen
hit.
with his items
Yeah,
shut off. The
let's
register
go.
auto locked. The system had timed out for the night, and I could no longer take any payment. I told him I was sorry, but I couldn't sell him the rope and ladder. He looked up for the first time. "Did you do
What
that
do you
on
mean,
purpose?"
I'm sorry?
I didn't answer, and just pointed at the coffee shop across the street. "That stays open till 10. Will you have a cup with me?" He nodded, and as we walked out together, I realized that sometimes the kindest things people do for you are the things you never see. My grandfather hunted every weekend for 40 years and never came home with a single bird. The night after his funeral, the lawyer read out his will at the lodge while we passed plates of stew around the table. Whoever bagged a pheasant on Grandpa's land by sundown tomorrow inherited $8 million. 6 of my siblings stopped chewing. My eldest brother looked across the table at me and laughed. "You can sit this one out, sniper boy. Save the army stuff for somebody else's 8 million. I clicked the bolt back into my rifle without looking up. Dawn. The 8 of us spread out into Grandpa's
I know what
woods.
it
I had
will
a clean
do.
line on a pheasant within 10 minutes. I let it walk. My eldest brother fired 3 rounds at what he was sure was a duck and turned out to be a low branch. He spent the next 20 minutes searching the brush for the body. My sister waded into a creek up to her hips
That's
and
crazy.
screamed about her boots. 2 of my brothers crossed paths in a clearing, and one of them dove behind a stump yelling, "Friendly, friendly," while the other tried to figure out if his safety was on. The TikTok one tried to film a slow-motion running shot, tripped over a root, and sent his shotgun 10 feet into a bush. I kept walking. I wasn't tracking pheasants. I was looking for something
Wait,
else.
let me-
3 hours in, I found it. Grandpa's old hunting
I
hideout,
need
still
to do
standing in the
something.
trees right
This
where
is
we left
just
it. He built it the
for
year I turned 10,
live
and we
streams
sat in it
for
together
OBS.
every November after that. The warped board he'd carved my initials into was still
I know
there.
what it
Tucked
does.
into the brush behind it was a pheasant nest with 3 eggs. Same one as when I was a kid.
Oh,
I sat
I
down
need
on the
to
bench and
close.
waited.
Wait,
The
I
mother
need to
pheasant
close
came back
OBS.